Me at least. Oh, never mind.
Okay, now I see a notification. Watch live.
We are officially live.
Ooh.
Let me find this so I can watch comments to see where people are.
I'm so happy to do this with my phone. This is a different experience. It feels weird to look at you guys through a smaller screen and stuff.
No,
Yeah, you too, because you're like vertical and narrow.
Does it look bad?
Oh, it doesn't look bad at all. No,
it's just look at you guys through a smaller screen and stuff.
Ooh.
No,
Okay, I can see people now. Yay! Or people commenting.
Hi, Louise.
Woo!
Everybody.
Hi, Peggy. Hi, Louise.
Nightlight Writer. That's a cute name.
Hi, Shelby.
How's everyone feeling this morning? We're writing in the morning once instead of at night.
Feels good. I'm excited.
We're not tired. We're all alive with energy right now. It's nice.
Let's see. Yeah, Shelby, who's a morning writer. Seen it. Natalie Roberts.
Lainey.
Yay! She just woke up.
Oh, TJ, did you change your name on there? It's different now.
Yeah, she has a pen name now.
That's cool.
Yeah. I really like it too.
I was just like, I see the same profile picture I'm used to seeing, but it's a name different. That's cool. What's up, Brian? Ryan gets to go to Disney World here soon.
Oh, yes.
I'm very jealous.
Are you going to the Harry Potter world? Because you should totally grab a wand.
All right.
Oh, so this is somewhat random but relevant. So in a few weeks, we found this bar crawl, and it's Harry Potter themed, and
That's cool.
And it's awesome, and I can't wait, and I'm gonna dress up, and I just don't know what I'm gonna dress up as.
What school is everybody? Or
house?
House. I'm
You're what? I'm sorry.
Gryffindor.
Me too.
Hey!
Funny. I always get Hufflepuff or Gryffindor whenever I take the test thing. It's like always even. So I like never know which one to fully call myself, Gryffindor or Hufflepuff. I did one time get Slytherin.
Really?
And I was like, wow, maybe I was feisty that day when I took it. Like I always had done the test, like I would make up random emails so that way I could like enter in a different email account in order to take the test. I did that all the time.
We have a lot of Ravenclaws in the comments.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, Ryan's a Gryffindor, a Slytherin.
Hufflepuff. My boyfriend's a Hufflepuff. I made fun of him because he thought he was a Gryffindor.
It is really interesting to like see certain people online where you'll watch them take the test and you'll think they're one way, and even they'll think that, oh, I'm gonna be so and so, and then whenever they take it and they get the results, they're like, what? I always think that's interesting.
I could totally see you as a Hufflepuff though. Like in my mind, I was like trying to think. I'm like Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I can see myself probably leaning a little bit more towards Hufflepuff, but then the like Harry Potter fan in me wants to be more so Gryffindor just because that's what everyone kind of hopes to be kind of sometimes. I don't know. I guess it's because that's where all the trio was in and stuff. You know?
Cool kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my eyebrows look so dark. I don't know if it's like the lighting or something, but I'm just like, whoa, I got like some brow going on and stuff.
I have a completely clean face because I just showered.
After your gardening.
Oh my god, I was covered in dirt.
It looked really good. I saw your photo.
Thanks.
Of like the before and after.
The very, very small portion of the yard. Like we have 2 acres and it's all overgrown. I'm like
2 acres. I want 10 acres. That's like my goal.
Oh, I was like 2 acres was our goal. We got 2 acres. And now I'm like,
Do you have plans for what you want to do with it?
Oh yeah, big plans. It's just a matter of having the time to do it. Like we have a river and a pond and all that, and it's just Trees are falling into the pond. We cleared some of that out, and it's just gross right now.
I would love to have a pond. I think that'd be so much fun. And then you would just be able to just look at it as you're writing. It would just be pretty.
Yeah.
Especially in the fall. So pretty.
You guys should come over and write sometime. A little plane flight.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, Natalia. So like you used to work on a farm and stuff. Do you miss that lifestyle?
100%. Yeah. I miss it a lot, but Greg is totally like on the same path as me with what we want to do in the future. So we're working really hard, saving up, and then from here we want to buy, you know, he says a little less land, but I want at least 10 acres and then start a huge sanctuary and save all the animals. Because
I was literally about to say, I bet she would like get animals and save them and stuff and put them on there. Oh, that's so funny.
Absolutely. But like I absolutely loved my life there, but I was living far away from family. So when I graduated from college, I decided to move back home. So I had to weigh the options and I decided to leave that behind, but hopefully it's in my future soon.
That's so cool that you and Greg are usually eye to eye on lots of things.
Absolutely.
Like how he's a vegan too, because I feel like that'd be hard to find someone who is that way.
Oh, I mean, like it's easier
no for to live, but
yeah, I had no hopes of finding somebody that shared my lifestyle. I was like, nope, I'm just gonna be alone. That's just how it's gonna be. And then there he was, and it was a blind date, and it just worked out extremely well.
That's cool.
Stuff like that never works out.
I know, right? I was like, there's no way, but we just clicked right away, and here we are.
Props to whoever set up that blind date.
Right?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so we've been live for almost 10 minutes, so get started here. Peggy, I can see Natalia having an animal rescue. Absolutely, that is like my ultimate goal. That's something that I'm working really hard to move toward. Yeah, 10 acres. Yeah, because the farm that I lived on was 7 acres. And it was pretty nice. We had like 2 pastures for the animals, but I want a little bit more room than what we had there. All right, but let's go ahead and kind of dive into it. So I'm hosting this time around, and I have a lot of like fun prompts for you guys and stuff. But first, the 3 of us will kind of go through and introduce ourselves in case you don't know one or any of us. So we'll say who we are, how long we've been on Authortube, what we are working on / any books that we've published, a random fact, and yeah, I feel like that's about it. So my name is Natalia Lee, in case you don't know. I have 2 books out currently, Highborn and Way of Spears. My 3rd novel, Song of the Dryad, will be out very, very soon, but I do not have a release date yet. As soon as I have it, you guys will be the first to know. A random fact about me is that I have a younger sister, and she just got married in June. So all of June was spent on wedding, like stressful wedding stuff. And what I'll be working on today are going to be like client edits, because like I said, Song of the Dryad will be out soon. It's currently just on pause. I don't need to do anything with it. So I'm going to catch up on all the critiquing and editing that I have fallen behind on.
Nice. Oh, and your pictures looked so pretty from the wedding, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she did a really good job of picking out colors and dresses. I can take no responsibility for any of that. The eye for fashion, and I just showed up. So
I'll go next, I suppose.
That's good. I'm still trying to come up with a fun fact.
I know, I'm like hoping that one will come to me. All right, I am Mandy Lynn. I'm the author of Essence, I Am Mercy, and She's Not Here, which will be coming out October 2nd. And the cover reveal was just last week, I think. But so yes, I've been here on Authortube since I think like 2012, something ridiculous like that. And random fact. Oh, okay, somewhat random. Tuesday is a big day for me because my online course that I've created, Authortube Academy, somehow goes live in public. Woo! And I'm hoping it goes smoothly. All right, that's it.
All right, I'm excited for that all to work out for you. That I'm sure took a long time too to make and stuff.
Yes, and it's never going to be done either.
More to add on always.
Always.
But anyway, if you guys didn't know who I was, my name is Brooke Passmore. I've been on Authortube almost a year. It'll be a year, probably like September 25th or something. I think that's the day. I don't know. So I'm almost a year of being on Authortube, and I am currently working on a new adult paranormal book that is set in New Orleans. Oh, and random fact about me is is it Labor Day? Yeah, Labor Day weekend, I will actually be going to New Orleans with my family. So I'm super stoked to be doing some research for my book and to just be enjoying that city that I've been dying to go to forever.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah. It was just kind of like a, hey, let's go away for the weekend. I was like, okay, where should we go? And then they're like, well, you're writing a book that takes place in New Orleans, and that sounds fun. And my brother is going to be 21 by the time that we go, because he's 20 at this moment. He's 21 in later this August. And so we're like, that's a perfect age for us all to go together. So it'll be interesting to see my brother maybe take a shot or two down in the French Quarter or something.
I cannot wait until your book is done. Like, what I've read of it so far is so amazingly good. I cannot wait for it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Natalia was wonderful to do one of her critique chapters because I had read her book. And so she gave her beta's chapter critique, and I was so nervous sending that to Natalia, but I'm so happy that you liked it. Yay.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. I like sat down. I started it one day and I didn't have much time, so I just like left you a little note, and then I started it again another day and I read the whole thing. It was so good. I want more so bad.
Yay, thank you so much.
Of course. How far are you into writing it? Like
thank you to NaNoWriMo or Camp NaNoWriMo. I had started because I was that type that would re-edit that's all I did last year was just re-editing things that I hadn't even finished the first draft of. Stupid. And so start of Camp NaNoWriMo, I think I was on chapter 7, and then as soon as camp was over, I was on chapter 15. So I was like really doing a lot better of just getting through and just going. And so I just feel like I'm like, I can see the end. It's there. It's tangible for me now. I'm so happy about it.
Once you get the first draft done, I like to think it gets easier from there. I always have a hard time with the first draft.
Oh, I don't like the first draft. I'm so much more of an editor.
Yeah.
Tell you, what'd you say?
I said that's the worst part of the process, finishing the first draft. I hate it. I don't like writing the first draft.
Does anyone watching, love the first draft or hate the first draft like how we do?
Curious, because I feel like a lot of people hate editing, but I like editing because it gets easier the more you do it. Like, we also need to ask people what they're working on today. Like today I'm working on the final editing for She's Not Here and like polishing stuff. Mm-hmm. And that just makes me feel so much better because it's like I don't have to think as much. Timmy loves the first draft. Louise hates it. I'm with you. Mixed feelings. Got the first.
But were we wanting to start off with a certain amount of minutes that we wanted to vote on for the writing?
I was thinking 15, but we could do longer or shorter depending on what everybody wants.
15 sounds like that would be pretty good to get started, and then maybe we could like try to go for 20. I think normally in the past we normally do more so around 15, but today I feel like since it's earlier, we should go longer.
Right, it's like we have more focus energy.
Yes. Did you have a word of the day?
I do.
I love those. Those are fun.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try to pronounce it correctly. I had the Google robot pronounce it, but I don't know if she pronounced it right. Abhorrent.
Ooh, I love that word.
Yeah, so it's an adjective and it means inspiring disgust and loathing or repugnant.
Ooh.
That is your word of the day.
I do not abhor that word. I love that word.
See, you know how to use it.
Yeah.
I've never ever used that word in a manuscript before.
I don't even know if I've read it in a book before. Oh my God.
Be creative when trying to use that one this time.
Not to be distracted, but I'm looking at my cat right now and he's sleeping and he's really cute. Oh.
Is it Moon?
Yeah. Just on the couch chilling. I was hoping he was going to come sit next to me, but no.
I'm coming back. Hold on. I'm trying to make it to where my thing won't move so much because I know I'm going to be typing, and so I know I'm going to be moving. And so let me try and make it to where I can make my little tripod guy smaller to where it's not so movie.
Talia, do you want to put the word of the day in the comments?
Absolutely.
And then let us know if you want 15, 20, or longer sprints.
Dang it, I don't think this is going to work.
What do you
Never mind. I was trying to be good and have it not be so shaky. But if you guys see me, especially right now, it's shaky, I'm sure, on my end. But if you guys see it shake when I'm typing, I'm sorry. Oh, gosh. But yeah, whenever you want to start, Natalia, ignore me and trying to, like, make things happen over here.
Sure. Well, let's go ahead and start off with a little writing warm-up. So you guys can do whatever feels right for you just to kind of get the creative thoughts flowing. Typically, I like to do a little journal entry. Sometimes I'll do it like personally for myself. Sometimes if I'm trying to get into a character's head, I'll write a journal entry from their point of view.
Cool.
So we'll probably do that for about 5 minutes here. Let me go ahead and set my timer to keep us on track. But just anything that you think will kind of get you into the writing mood.
I like the idea of kind of doing a journal entry from the character's point of view that you're writing from.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that would kind of be more, especially if you write in third person, then that would kind of help you get into their head a little bit more before going into it. So that's a cool idea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we will do 5 minutes.
My eye.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer for 5 minutes, and let's do our writing warm-up.
Okie dokie.
right, that's 5 minutes.
I like the little shimmies.
I know it was on that really annoying radar sound that comes on iPhones, and I was like, no, we have to change that. I don't need that. So what did everybody decide to do?
I just straight into
Sorry.
edit. Oh, sorry. What we do. I just jumped straight into the editing. I think I actually got a few pages in that 5 minutes.
Nice.
See, this is what I mean. It gets easier.
Brooke, what did you work on?
I did a little bit of a journal entry because I liked doing that. And then as I was doing that, then I was like, ooh, I'm just going to go ahead and put this here and plug it into an area because I was like, ooh, I like this. And so after I did that, I slightly edited a little bit right there.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm just going to do this real quick and then I'm going to move on after we get going with things.
Perfect. So what I decided to do was I'm working on one of my clients' outlines this morning. So I went ahead and read back through all of the notes that I already left her. So I kind of realigned myself with where I am in the outline. So what did everybody else work on for this little warm up?
And if anyone's watching and you were kind of like curious of what other people would think of your work but you're not ready to do beta readings and stuff from people, Natalia gave very, very good advice with just a chapter critique for me and stuff. I felt like everything that you had said was so helpful. And like the little criticisms that you had done, it wasn't anything like or anything like that. It was very like, oh, that totally makes sense. And oh, why didn't I know this? Or something like that. It was just kind of like very, very helpful. Never made me feel like, oh, I'm just going to crawl back into my shell and never let people read. Everything was great. So if anyone needs help, she's great for chapter critiques.
So much. That makes me feel so happy. Because every time I read somebody's work, I try really hard to be, to also point out what needs pointed out. Like we talked about this in our beta video, like point out the things that definitely need to be talked about, but be very supportive as well and encourage.
Yeah.
I've received some critiques that just make me want to X out of the document and never open it back up again. So I never want to do that.
Where you're like, I have to take a breath and maybe a break for 2 days and before I get back into this or something.
It's a horrible feeling when somebody does that to you. So I really try not to do that to anyone.
I think I told you guys once about this guy in my creative writing class who, like, every time he critiqued someone's, whether it was mine or someone else's, he always had, like, awful things to say. But then when it came to critiquing his stuff, he was just like, oh, no, I think you're wrong. And that's just, oh, my God, he annoyed me. Ugh.
I had someone like that in a creative writing class. It was like they can't take it, but they can certainly dish it out.
Yeah.
Type of stuff.
It's awful.
Yeah, we had a rule in my creative writing class that when you were getting reviewed, you couldn't speak the whole time.
Yeah, same. We had that, and he still broke the rule.
You need to just like have like some type of, what is it that I'm thinking of?
I don't know. I feel like it needs a button that if you speak, be like, duh. Like points or something. I don't know.
Like what is it that people, whenever their mouths get covered, like if they're kidnapped? What am I thinking of?
Duct tape?
No, like, like never mind. I can't think of what the word. I mean, I guess you could say that they got their mouths duct taped and stuff like that. I'm thinking of like something else though. Whatever.
Exactly. Is that what you mean? I've never been kidnapped. So
Sure. I just can't think of words.
Let's see. So Shelby asked a question. She said, how did you learn how to edit? I really want to get better at editing my own work. So you both can answer this as well. But personally, for me, it's been reading a lot of books and paying close attention to like all of the devices that they're using, paying close attention to spelling, to punctuation, to grammar, and then going back to my own work and learning how to pick that up. And it just takes a lot of practice and a lot of reading. I'm interested in getting better at like copy editing, and I don't know if I can take like a copy editing class or get a certificate in it, but I'm really interested in doing that. So Shelby, I think you said that you are taking a class right now. Yeah, you're taking a class for it. So that should definitely be helpful. I did take a lot of English classes and creative writing classes, but honestly, those did not teach me how to edit at all. So what about for you guys, Brooke and Mandy? How did you learn how to edit your own work?
So for me, I think it just comes down to the more you do it, the better you get at it. And also a big help is just reading. And mostly it's like reading, especially the novels that are known for like really good writing, and reading it and kind of dissecting it, not so much in terms of like the story, but in terms of the actual writing. Like, what about that book is making people fall in love with it? And then you take that and kind of see how you can apply it to your own writing. So that's always been a thing for me.
Totally agree. And also, whenever you're in the middle of like rereading your work and you're seeing stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, this is like totally needs work. Oh my gosh, why did I write this? Don't feel so bad on yourself, because that just means that you're spotting things that need improvement. And whenever you're able to do that, that just means you're just continuing to get better and better at the craft in itself and everything. So, but no, exactly what Mandy and Natalia had said. And then also, if you don't have time to like read books that are about editing or creative writing or whatever, I mean, YouTube videos, I mean, just like there's so many to watch, and there's just so much to learn from other people's perspectives on things and stuff. I'll even watch YouTube channels where they talk about like movie script writing, and they kind of do like movie essays and stuff, and those are super helpful too, because they'll like point out like things from movies, but that you could still take and put into writing books and stuff like that. So just like, I know that's not really so much editing though, but anyway, but yeah, just lots of YouTube videos that help you with editing too.
And it might even be really good to start critiquing other people's work. And that may sound bad, but it's easier to start off by critiquing someone else before you critique yourself, because it's hard to correct yourself because you think you're wonderful. But once you get good at critiquing other people, then it becomes easier to critique yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that like when you two had your creative writing classes and we would be critiquing other people's work, you would see certain things that other people would do, and you'd notice like, oh, that probably could use improvement. And then you might see that same thing that you had done in your own work, to where you're like, oh, I just now spotted that, and I know now from critiquing theirs that I'm kind of doing the same thing, and I know I shouldn't be doing this type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because like personally, I have a tendency with my own writing to like just scan over things that need to be fixed, but I don't see them because I've seen it so many times. That's a really good point. Like looking at somebody else's work, you'll pick that up because you've never seen it before. And then you go back to your own writing and you notice it. But then sometimes like there's some things that I just need other people to point out for me. Like Brooke was the one that pointed out that I used the word, like the transition then or comma and then literally like over. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And I cleaned it up as much as I could. And then my editor found more of them that she had to clean out. And I never have noticed that. So there were hundreds of those in my manuscript.
There was one word in my manuscript where like one chapter I used this word in like every paragraph. And it got to the point where my editor was just highlight, 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 highlight. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do?
Vary your word choice, people.
I do that in my YouTube videos, and I'll even point it out if I've noticed that, okay, I use this word a lot, so let's just go ahead and count up how many times I use it, because I'm just like, I can't not point it out because it's just is like so bad. It's so obvious. But did we want to go ahead and get into more writing time?
Yeah, let's do that. So I went ahead and I came up with some new writing prompts for you guys today. And I know that the first time I hosted, I ended up pulling 2 at a time, but this time around, I'm just going to do 1 at a time for you. And most of these are all like very character driven. So the first one I have for you today is to write about a trip that your characters take on a train. And that would be perfect for like a fantasy or a contemporary. You could really weave that into anything. And I've only been on a train once in my life, and it was a really fun experience. So that's kind of what inspired that prompt for me.
That's fun. Right? I would love to do like a train through Germany or Switzerland or something.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, it's the dream.
All right, so there were some people voting for 15 minutes and some people voting for 20. What do we want to go with?
I'll do whatever. What?
Are you asking us? or the people looking.
I'm asking you two and anybody else in the comments too. Everybody.
Either works for me. What do we normally do? I can't even remember.
I think we normally do 15. I kind of would like to go for 20, but that's just me.
All right, let's do.
I didn't work today.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set it for 20 minutes. I don't know if you guys, I like to listen to music while I write and such, but I don't want to like blast you guys out with my music. So
No, I like your music choices. Nothing against Brooke.
I used ambient sounds last time, and I guess Mandy didn't know that that was a thing, and so she was like, "Why is she just playing noise?"
Right. All right. Well, I can pop on some like instrumental music for us, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit start, and we will work for 20 minutes. Let's go.
Sounds good.
All right, that was 20.
Oh God.
All right, how did everybody do?
Decent.
I'm on chapter 2. I wanted to say this because I keep spotting it every time I edit my book. I find, you know how you have like these filler words that make it so you aren't writing as well? Like it's kind of like an example of show don't tell. I think it's called filter words.
Oh, yeah.
The word seem, like it seemed to be cold. It's either cold or not cold, okay? The amount of times I've taken that word out of my manuscript is actually getting ridiculous. So, anyone watching, if you have the word seemed, like it's SEEMED, if that's in your manuscript, search for it, use Control F or whatever. If it's in there, get rid of it. That means being lazy. Okay, I'm done.
It's like, make up your mind. Is it or is it not?
Exactly. Oh, I just started spotting it. I'm like, oh my God. I don't even know what draft I'm on anymore, but it's there everywhere. And I'm still getting rid of it.
I always like to use the word just. That is always my go-to stupid, nonsensical word I throw into stuff.
Lainey's the same way. She said that just now. Like, right as you were saying it, she put
Oh, that's funny.
I don't say any of those very often. Just or seemed. Mine is mostly, and then. And then. Over and over and over.
You better transition words.
Right. Ryan, his filter word is begins. I used to use started a lot. Her heart started to beat. Like, no, her heart's been beating this whole time. That makes no sense. I cut that a lot in early edits.
I had to cut that because I put like at the beginning they were whispering, and then I was like, then they started to whisper, and then my editor was like, weren't they already whispering? I'm like, oh yeah.
They've been whispering this whole page.
Every time I see Natalia drinking from her mug, for some reason, I feel like it's a Nickelodeon mug. It's orange, and there's writing on it, and I know it doesn't say Nickelodeon, but it definitely makes me like double think and
like a Nickelodeon mug, doesn't it? Like the white writing on it.
Yeah, and so every time I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's not that. Stop thinking that.
All right. Did anybody use the train prompt at all?
Or the word of the day?
Yeah.
I haven't used that yet.
I'll admit, I forgot what the word of the day was. It
abhorrent.
Abhorrent. Oh, so fancy. I admit I've already chosen my word of the day for next month, but I can't say. I will give a hint. It's inspired by The Greatest Showman because I can't see the movie now. I just have to make sure I remember a month from now.
You could put it on our Google Doc.
That's true. I'll have to do that.
Mm-hmm. That makes me excited because I love The Greatest Showman.
Oh my God. I watched it for the first time last week, and then yesterday I watched it twice. First with my parents, and then again with my best friend, who's also already seen it, but she just wanted to like fangirl with me about all the choreography and the songs and everything.
I think the director was like a music video director first before, and this was like his first film, and so that's why it looks like a lot of the show scenes and like the music numbers look like it's definitely like a music video or something. It looks great. I love that movie. Caitlin Rivers is on a train. She says, does that count?
That's awesome.
Where are you going, Caitlin? Like, oh my gosh, that'd be fun to be on a train and write. That's like a dream of mine, actually. I would love to be on a train and writing while looking out at the scenery and stuff.
You're assuming there's good scenery. I've been on trains where there's not.
That is true. In the States, sometimes it's a hit or miss. A lot of the times it's probably a miss of just like flat land and that's it.
Not even. I took a train from Massachusetts to Washington, D.C., and it was like through all the cities, and most of them were just not pretty. I was like, okay, this is disappointing.
A little lackluster. Ooh, Toronto to Montreal. Oh,
Windows.
Cool. No window though. Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh yeah, so Luis, I did want to say congratulations. I see you and Ryan talking. So if you guys haven't seen Luis's video this morning, she got into Right Now. And I don't know a whole lot about it, Luis. It'd be awesome if you could tell us a little bit more about it. But I had seen you on like your Twitter kind of talking about it and, you know, hoping for the best. And congratulations. That is amazing that you were able to get into that.
What is that? I've never heard of that actually.
Yeah, I would like to learn a little bit more about it too.
We'll probably all go to her video after the write-in is done and be like,
I was watching it while I was getting ready for our live stream this morning. And then I was watching one of, it's interesting using her other name, one of Jasmine Little's videos this morning as well. That's what I like to do while I get ready.
But I know I like to do that too, because most of us author-tubers, it's not so much something that, I mean, I do watch our videos, but it's not all the time where you have to like physically watch. Sometimes it's nice to just have it to where if you're doing makeup, put on makeup, then take a second to watch, put on more or something like that. I'd like to do that.
That's what I do exactly.
Yeah, for real. Like as I'm eating breakfast, I'm like, gotta catch up.
Right. I like to when I do the dishes, I put the phone like on the windowsill right in front of me, so I just like wash all the dishes while I'm watching videos. So it works really well for me.
Yeah. Anytime where there's free time. I can't remember the last time I just sat down and just watched like YouTube. Like I remember when I was on vacation, I sat down and just watched a movie. I'm like, this is great. I'm not multitasking.
Like just focus on the one thing.
I know. Like when we watched The Greatest Showman, I'm like, this needs my full attention.
I usually watch YouTube videos at work while I can like multitask, because most of the stuff that I watch at work that are videos, it's like I said, it's stuff that I can like don't have to necessarily like watch all the time. So I have my work over on this monitor, and this monitor is some type of video of some kind. But I am so mad because for some reason, like a couple months ago, they had it to where I can't comment on people's videos anymore. It's like they have restrictions at work now. It's like I can watch videos and I can like the videos, but I can't see comments and I can't write a comment to people. So lots of the times whenever I watch videos at work, I have to go home after work and remember whose did I watch today so I can go have a comment made. And so sometimes I forget to, or I'm just like, oh, I have other things I got to do that I can't go back. And so it's frustrating. So hopefully I can get over this.
Trying to sneak in every moment you can.
So what did you guys think of the 20?
I like
20 minutes? Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah. I thought it went pretty fast.
I know, I liked the 20 because sometimes the 15 I like too, but sometimes I'm like, I was just kind of getting in the groove of things, but okay and stuff. So I like the 20.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share another prompt with you guys. See what my next one is. All right, so I'll give you two actually, because we probably won't go through all of them today. So the first is, has your character ever stolen something? And if so, what was it and why did they steal it?
Ooh, I like
that.
And then if you want to do like, that would be more of like a character development prompt. But if you want to do more of like a world building or setting prompt, the next one I have is, describe the view from your character's bedroom window.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So again, if you're stuck, then you could just, you know, take one of those and run with it and see what you learn about your characters or the world that they're living in.
You can daydream about what, and look out the window of what your character would be daydreaming while looking out their window. It's like a play within a play type of thing, maybe.
All right, so
20.
Another 20?
That works for me.
Yeah, I like the 20.
I'm just currently, if anyone wants to see my view right now, if you want to see what's my view, I'm posting on my Instagram what my cat looks like right now because he looks way too comfortable. I'll tag both of you so you can see if you want.
Let's check it out.
But I was like, oh my god, he looks too cute right now.
I can't look at it right now, otherwise I'd be.
Okay, let me see if I can pull it
I'll
up.
look at it later, I guess.
Hold on. Can you see this? Look at him. Is that
That's so
lick
cute.
or what?
That's like the perfect
Precious.
placement.
Oh, he's just so happy. Such a happy cat.
He's soaking up those sun rays.
For real. Because he has a little, I'm surprised he's not on the little ledge where he can actually, because we have a bay window, so he normally sits in that. So I don't know why he's not there. He's just on the couch, but hey.
What is the weather like there right now?
It's stupidly humid.
Oh,
Like, it's humid, cloudy. We actually had a tornado a few days ago.
Ooh.
It was over where my parents were, and it destroyed like Main Street, and they had to take down 3 buildings. But it's been like there's been heat lightning every night. It's just so gross.
I've never heard of heat lightning.
You've never heard
that.
of lightning?
Mm-mm.
It's like just when it's so humid that there's lightning everywhere, but it's not raining. There's no thunder. Well, yeah, I've never heard thunder with heat lightning, but I imagine it's probably just because it's far away. But yeah, it just means there's lightning, but there's no rain. It's weird.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that before.
That's weird. It must be a New England thing then. I didn't really think of that. Like again, it's every night here.
And you said it's because of the humidity?
Yeah, I don't it's not normally humid here. It's just been like this whole month it's been gross and humid and sticky and like New England isn't usually like that. That's normally like a southern thing. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been humid here.
No
Sick humidity.
It is super, super dry where I live.
Is anyone else just like so freaking stoked for the fall? Because I just cannot even wait.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Mm.
I'm gonna have a Halloween.
I know. Halloween is my ultimate favorite. It is by far my favorite holiday.
I also just can't wait for this book to be out because I'm like at that point where I'm sick of working on it.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Yep, I'm ready. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our music back on and set us up for another 20-minute writing sprint.
Woohoo!
Let's get
Sounds
started.
good. Crap.
right, that's 20 minutes. I got a lot done that time. What about you guys?
Oh, well, I only had the first 3 chapters of the final edits to work with.
Ooh.
That is officially done. So while I was kind of killing time, I was looking at stuff for a book trailer that may or may not happen.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, so that's what I did.
If it did happen, would you make a video of it so that we could see how you do it?
Oh yeah, because in the past I've filmed my own for Essence and I Am Mercy. I somewhat have the ability to film this third one because I do work at a hospital, so technically I probably could if I asked, but I didn't really want to pull strings at my job for that. Plus, it's hard because then you got to get consent forms. You have to make sure no one's in the frame, and I just don't feel like doing that. So I'm looking at like stock footage and stuff like that, and maybe working with different scenes that won't require a hospital equipment sort of thing. So yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see a video of like what all you do and like the process of it all and stuff. It's always so cool to see that.
I think I have one that walks through how I made the trailer for Essence, like how I actually filmed it and everything. And then I have another one that's newer where I talk about what is it? I talk about how you use like pre-programs, like the more classic form of book trailers where it's just like titles and stock photos and stuff like that. But I try to use actual video footage instead of stock photos because I find stock photos in video form a little bit boring.
All right, well, what were you working on? How did you do?
Well, I got stuck. I'm in this one part of this chapter to where I had this earlier in camp, where it's like I can't just kind of, it's like one of those situations where I'd like to say, oh, just say blah, blah, blah here and then move on, like write a note and then move on. I can't do that. It's like I have to, it's a chapter that must be like thought of and like written out before I can continue on. And it's just, I always come into this with where it's kind of like the how of something, I have to have that be written in order to reference back to and to keep talking about it later on. And so I had to write notes of like what all I could say. I like to brainstorm in paper and pad and stuff like that rather than brainstorming on the computer. It's just easier to get out and stuff. So if you didn't see me typing as much and I was just kind of was like writing with my head down, that's why you probably just saw this for the most part.
You're a pantster, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You're like, that explains it.
Well, I started as a plotter and then I make stuff up about halfway through. So, yeah.
No. I'm like the total opposite. I can't make things up at all. Like unless it's like dialogue or something, that I don't plot out. But otherwise, everything is plotted like very, very tediously.
See, I don't even think I'd know how to do that. Like I did for She's Not Here, I did like a chapter by chapter, like outline. But even then, my outline was like a few sentences, and that's it. Like that's as much as I can outline because then like I just want to start writing and I don't want to outline. Outline is annoying.
I agree. It's so tedious.
Yeah, it is tedious. Absolutely. I think the first draft is the hardest thing for me to do, but then the outline is like the second hardest thing for me to do. So like just coming up with new thoughts. And then when you write something and you realize it's problematic and then you have to fix it and you don't know how to fix it, that's really rough too, because then you have to or personally for me, it takes days and days to think of new ideas for how to fill the plot hole that I completed and stuff like that.
That's why there's 3 different versions of She's Not Here, and each one is completely different. I had to write the bad stuff before the good stuff came out.
Yeah, I'm a plancer, but heavy more so plancer and stuff. It's just I have the beginning, the middle, and the end, and like little ideas that will go here and there in between and stuff, but it's never really written down. If it's written down, it's because it's just me brainstorming and that's about it and stuff like that. But it's nothing like that I could go off of. It's just kind of like getting out my ideas, and then once I have the idea, then I never see that piece of paper ever again. I never like go back and look at it or anything.
Aren't you paranoid you'll forget?
No, like I always like remember, like and it makes sense. Okay, so I listened to On Writing by Stephen King a lot, and what he says totally makes sense to me. He says somewhere where he doesn't write down his ideas either, because he says if you can't remember them, then it's not an idea worth remembering. And so, well, that kind of makes sense, because everything that I like have in my head, I never have to write down, because it's like I just know it.
That's true. That's a very valid point, and I love that memoir, by the way. That's like my favorite. Like,
yeah.
Book.
But it's like that's so true, because it's like, well, I mean, if you forgot it, then is it really that much of a I have to have it now type of thing? Like, I'll even remember like little details that I'm wanting in future novels of what I'm wanting to write, and I know this thing about this person, and I know this little description that I'm wanting to use for this thing here. Anyway, and so it's just kind of like I never really have to write it down. But I mean, I'm just different though than the plotters out there, so.
You're just out there only writing the book, not the outline, not the ideas, just the book.
No. What do you guys find harder to write? A synopsis or an outline? Because synopsis is, I feel like, is super hard.
Yeah.
Now, what do you define as synopsis? Because there are some people that say the back cover blurb is the synopsis, but
that is true.
Whenever
you're trying to query agents and some of them want a synopsis, it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
Either one of those, dude, like both of, because I've done that before where you're trying to write a synopsis that's like maybe like a page or something like that for an agent, and that's hard too, because it's just like, oh, how can you cram everything into just a small little area to try and describe it?
Like sellable too.
Allison agrees. Synopses are the worst.
I agree. Like, I've only ever had to write like the long, lengthy synopsis, like the agents ask for. And I found it really difficult, because when I'm writing an outline, I don't have to impress anybody. Like, it's not to impress anyone, you know, it's just the ideas all coming together. But then in a synopsis, it's all like, you know, oh, you have to catch my attention and, you know, tell me everything that goes on, but it also has to be very well written, and it has to be like this. And that was really difficult for me.
Yeah, I actually, not gonna lie, I don't think I ever wrote one.
Really?
I know I tried to, and then like gave up. I'm like, well, if that agent wants a synopsis, I'm not pitching to them.
Right.
I like the ones that were just like, just give me like your little pitch and like the first 3 chapters. I'm like, cool.
I like you.
Oh.
My chair annoy anyone, by the way? Do you hear the creaks? Is it bad? I feel like I've been hearing it creak throughout this entire time. I'm like,
I hear it every now and then, but not too bad.
Okay. Just as long, I just want to make sure it's not like annoying or something. Okay, that's fine.
So how are you guys feeling at this point? I've gotten quite a lot of work done, so I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at. Do you feel like finished up for the day? We've been on here for about an hour and 40 minutes almost.
Yeah. I say if we did do one more, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, not one so long. I do like doing the 20 minutes though. I feel like that's been helpful.
All right, why don't we do like a 10-minute just to finish everything off? And then we'll do like a 10-minute chat, answer any questions that come in, and then get on with the rest of our Sunday. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, and has anyone used Abhorrent yet? Because I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet.
Hard to fit it in when you're editing.
That is true.
Like come across the proper scene for it.
Natalia, when you're going over chapter critiques, you should be like, you should put in Abhorrent right here.
Vary your word choice. Let's use this instead.
And then the person will be like, what word is that?
totally kidding, by the way, if that was not coming across.
No, it's fun. What I'm working on right now is an outline critique, so it's great. Like, I'm not looking at word choice or punctuation or spelling or anything like that. It's just like development and asking lots of questions, and it's been fun so far.
Nice.
All right,
But
so I'm gonna go
10
ahead.
minutes sounds like that would be fine.
What's that?
Oh, I just said 10 minutes sounds like that would be fine.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit start, and let's finish this off with 10 minutes.
Woo.
right, that was 10 minutes.
Woo.
Yay.
Woot woot.
I officially finished the read through of this outline. Yay, I'm so excited. This was
awesome.
super helpful. I'm really glad that we did this today.
Yeah, this was fun on a Sunday morning. Did everyone like this compared to our normal Friday nights?
I'm curious to see what people prefer.
I liked this better because Friday nights I always get hungry and tired and then I don't work very well.
I do. Natalia's usually really quiet at the end of the
night. I get so quiet. I'm like, all I can think about is food and sleep. So I just lose all my energy.
Yeah, because it's always late when we finish up.
Yeah. And then if we talk a little bit after the live stream, me and Mandy are blah, blah, blah. And Natalia's just like,
Yep, that's always me, always. And then I'm like, I have to go, I have to eat.
And Sunday's nice because it helps international folks as well.
Yeah, I kind of like doing both because then it because I even though I'm more of a daytime writer, I like writing at Friday nights. It just is kind of once we're done, then we're done. Then I can go to sleep type of thing. Which, I mean, this is nice to have the rest of the day ahead of us and stuff. It just is kind of a nice way to end off the night, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I do like this though. I feel more awake whenever I'm writing, so that's kind of nice.
So we'll have to do a poll on Twitter or something to see what people's preferred day is, because it seems like this noon seemed to work out for everyone. I'll have to find out, because the next chat will be it's on my channel, right?
Yeah.
Before I advertise myself. It's on my channel. We don't think we've set a date yet, so we'll have to announce it later. But yeah, so you guys will just have to let us know which your preferred day and time is.
Yeah, I'm not sure of when we'll be able to, because usually the week that we would do it in the month.
Away.
So I don't know what we'll do.
We'll figure it out. Leave no writer behind.
I like that.
Right. Did anyone have questions?
I saw one from Kate. Let me see if I can find it.
Words fall. I'm sorry that you just now got here and we're about to sign off. I'm sorry. Maybe you
not yet. Not quite yet.
I know. I'm just meaning the writing portion of it all. That's what I meant. Yeah.
You wanted to be productive. So
right.
So Kate had a question. Is there a hard and fast rule about the length of chapters in a novel? For example, should they all be roughly the same length? So what do you guys say?
My only thing is, if you're someone who writes super, super, super long chapters and the majority of them are long chapters, it is odd to throw in a chapter that's only just a few hundred words. But I don't think there's any really rules, but I don't know how agents are and publishing houses are, though.
I think it depends on how you want the pacing for your novel to be. Since mine is a thriller, I have gotten compliments from my betas in the fact that I do have shorter chapters because it helps with the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think as long as you're consistent, if you're going to write long chapters, make sure you don't have a freakishly short chapter in there randomly somewhere. And I always like to say, leave your chapter hanging. So for the people that are like, I'm just going to read one more chapter, then they get to the end of the chapter and then they're like, ooh, I think I'll read the next chapter.
Yeah, and then I guess my thoughts on that would be kind of like Mandy said, it does depend on what you're writing. If you're writing a thriller, that's going to be different from a cozy contemporary or something. Personally, I tend to have longer chapters is what I've kind of heard, but I try to break it up with shorter ones. So depending on where the buildup is and then where the action is, and I don't necessarily mean to do this. It just kind of happens naturally in the drafting phase, but one of those will be longer. And then when the pace picks up, those chapters get shorter and shorter. So it can help the readability as somebody's going through it. So it's not constantly huge chapters they have to get through. Because personally, if I'm reading let's say it's like nighttime before bed and I'm reading, I typically, as I start to get tired, I like when I come across a short chapter. Cause it's like, oh, I can read that short chapter and then go to bed. Like, and I feel really good versus starting a chapter and having like 20 more pages that I have to read over and over and over.
Sometimes people will kind of see how many pages are in the next chapter.
Yes. Yep, exactly. So I just kind of vary them. Granted, I've seen authors put one sentence in a chapter before and then immediately start the next chapter on the next page. So it really depends on what you're trying to do with your pacing and what you're trying to convey to your readers, I'd say.
That's true. Because I remember I read one book that the chapter length was like all normal throughout. And then there was this big like shebang. And then there was like 5 chapters that was one sentence, one sentence, one sentence. And it had a huge impact. So it's really about what the effect is you're trying to create and what the pacing is.
Right.
I always like fantasy books usually have longer chapters. And then like how Mandy was saying, especially since hers is a thriller book, I think hers is great to have it to where it's a little bit shorter of chapters and stuff. But yeah, fantasy I always see are usually pretty long. Like the Harry Potter books, they have long chapters whenever they're in the thick of the series and stuff.
They don't feel long when you're reading them.
I know, that is true. That's a good way of seeing that the chapter was successful, that it doesn't feel long, but even though they are technically longer than the norm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so does anybody else have any other questions that we can tackle real quick before we sign off? It's been almost 2 hours now. In 4 minutes, it will have been 2 hours.
Yeah, a good round, y'all. And this was nice. I had missed our write-in stuff. It was like, oh.
I know, it was weird. Because I think we were late to start with, and then we had to reschedule, right? Isn't that what? Yeah. Because we're like in the second week of August. So we'll see you guys again soon when we do the writing stuff.
I know they're going to be like, these chicks again? God.
Words Fall says, what about contemporary? And I assume you're talking about chapter length. I think contemporary is one of those ones where it just kind of depends, again, on the pacing that you're trying to create.
Oh, and then Words Fall mentioned word count. So if you're talking about like the completed, are you talking about like the completed length of the novel in word count? Because genre absolutely influences that, especially if you're trying to traditionally publish. Agents will be looking for a relatively specific word count depending on the genre that you're writing.
Isn't contemporary more like 75K or something like that?
Definitely shorter.
Yeah, whereas fantasy is a lot longer. I found that a lot of thrillers, they can either be like really short or some of them are longer. Usually if they're longer, they're more like women's lit thrillers is what I've noticed. Which is really strange. It's something that I've just, as I'm looking at the thrillers on my shelf, I'm like, oh, interesting.
It always makes me happy to see, this is like so weird of me to say this, but like it always makes me feel happy to see books written by authors that are like, whenever they were first getting going and getting published and stuff, their work is like really, really thin of a book. And then the more that they've done, then the books are like thicker. Like, okay, they feel like the publishers are like, they've earned it to where they can just write however much they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
J.K. Rowling, her books are like so thin at first, and then it's like, she can do whatever. It's her.
Yeah. Well, hers are also, like, I love hers because hers are, like, the Harry Potter series is such a different series in the fact that it starts off middle grade and then turns out to be young adult or maybe even borderline adult, depending on how you categorize things. But I think that's really cool because you can see it getting thicker and the characters getting older. And I don't know, it's really unique because you don't really see that with most series.
Right. I mean, I'm listening to Deathly Hallows on audiobook right now, and Ron, he didn't say effing like all the way out, but he did say effing. Does that make sense? He like said effing, but not the actual word. Okay. Yeah. So it's like interesting because it was like going, I hope they know what I'm trying to go at. But it was interesting because it's like, this is technically like for somewhat kids, but like how you said, it's kind of sanctioned into almost another type of genre kind of because of them being older and stuff. So it's interesting of how that all plays out.
So I'm not really seeing any other questions. So I think we're good to start kind of wrapping everything up here. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Personally, I really enjoyed doing this on a Sunday. I actually have natural light on my face. I actually am like awake and I got a lot of work done. So I'm really glad you guys were able to show up. Mandy did say that she would probably be putting up a poll so that we can kind of figure out if you guys like Sundays more, if you prefer the Fridays, and what times work best for you. So maybe we'll keep kind of playing around with this and see who can show up and when they can show up and try to pick a time that works best for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. So we'll be on Mandy's channel next. We don't have a day picked out yet, but we will all be posting about it when we do.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good? All right. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We are signing off now.
Bye.